Hello and welcome to the Tactile Rubik's Cubes. Now this Rubik's Cube, like many others, has been mesmerising the mind of over 250 million people since 1972. And many of you probably have one of these lying around your toy box in the loft. But what you probably don't realise is with some simple household items you can convert your ordinary Rubik's Cube to a tactile Rubik's Cube, allowing the blind to enjoy the pleasures which we've been enjoying for over 38 years. So what do you need? Well, obviously you need a Rubik's Cube, and if you don't have one in your toy box, and I'm sure your friends, neighbours or other family members may also have one. Today you can use any household item, but today we're going to be using a green Brillo pad, which obviously under everybody's sink, into their kitchen sink. We have some flannelette, some yellow card from a folder, and also a piece of rubber which is used from any sort of cheap shop there. And finally we have a red fabric bag which Woolworths and Coles tend to try and sell you to prevent you from using plastic bags too much. Now you probably noticed there are only 5 materials and there's 6 sides to the Rubik's Cube. However, you can use one of the existing sides as one of your tactile sides of Rubik's Cubes, so please do not worry. Apparatus, well, we have some scissors, a ruler, and a pen for marking out, and finally some PVA glue. You can use other glue, but I wouldn't suggest to use super glue because you can run the risk of super gluing your hands, which is very bad. So before you start cutting out your materials, the first thing you'll need to do is to select the 5 sides that you wish to attach your new fabric onto. This is because of the glossy finish that you see on the Rubik's Cube, the glue will have an awful lot of trouble trying to bond onto it. So select your 5 sides first and foremost. Now the first thing I'll do in this instance is actually use the card to draw out a template. So just simply place your Rubik's Cube onto the card and draw around it. Now when you're drawing around the Rubik's Cube, try and actually get the pen into the divots, because these divots will then provide a marker for you to then draw your individual cubes onto this template. So as you can see now we have a template, and also you can see the little marks where the different sections of the Rubik's Cube have been marked, and now I can line them up and draw the lines. Now then what you do is obviously cut that out and repeat the process for the other 5 materials. So in good old Blue Peter style, here's some that I've completed earlier. So we have the yellow card, we have the fabric, the rubber, the flannelettes, and finally we have the Brillo pad. Now what you can do is cut each individual pieces into 9 separate squares. However, I find that a little bit taxing, so an easier way would actually be just to cut out the card and use the card squares as a template for the your entire selection of fabrics. So you quickly cut this out now. Being careful not to chop your little pinkies, as obviously you'll stain the card, which will be very bad. So we're just going to cut this out, and what I'm going to do then is cut one of the small squares out. Make sure it's nice and straight. What you need to do then, before you use this as a template, is actually put the square onto the Rubik's Cube to make sure that you've got the right fit. And as you can see here, I've been a little bit generous when cutting the card out, so I actually need to trim this down just a little bit more. Now you can see we have a perfect fit for the Rubik's Cube. And what I would do then is I can continue then to cut around the existing template just to make sure that I get the right size. So as I said before, as you complete the card, you can then move on using one of the templates to actually then cut out the fabric material like so. And as you can see now, we have a square which we now place onto the Rubik's Cube. Now, so once you have all your squares and you're ready to go, you can now pick your 5 sides and then glue each square onto the Rubik's Cube. Now, I would suggest that you do a side at a time and perhaps leave it for an hour or so and let that fabric or whatever you're using really make a good bond onto the Rubik's Cube. So here's one I've done earlier, and one I've played with and failed to put back to its original setting. So what you can see here, we've been using the yellow card, the green flannelettes, the green Brillo pad, the blue flannelettes and red fabric. And as we can see, it's fully operational. And if I was to close my eyes, I can feel individual fabrics, which will give me a fighting chance of being able to reset the cube to its original condition.